Every Tuesday we go to the corner of Bell Street and Sydney Road, and we stand on the corner, and as we say, we purple up scarves and whatever else we can find, and we stand there for an hour as a vigil. It's marvellous being a grandmother. I love being a grandmother. And I think that's something that just breaks my heart, to think these children in detention have got grandmothers, grandparents. I would suspect that the grandparents, grandmothers, don't even know what's happening to them. So possibly there's a whole lot of grandmothers in another part of the world who think that their children and grandchildren are having great lives in Australia, and they're not. And we are punishing these people.
I was doing a course teaching English to foreign students. So they brought us adult students who were refugees from South Sudan and Bosnia and a few others. And one day our tutor was giving a demonstration lesson about the verb used to. This tall fellow stood up, very well dressed. He said, "I used to be a person and now I'm nothing. I used to be a journalist in my country and I had a country. Now I have no job, no country, so I'm nothing. I used to have a wife and 4 children." And he said, up to 2 weeks ago, I had no idea what the children and the wife were. And I thought, oh my goodness, what these people go through.
I often think of that image, you know, those moments where your kids or your grandkids and you finally got them to sleep. Those beautiful moments, but it brings up ideas of protection, and sometimes you feel helpless as a parent or a grandparent because you know there's a whole lot you can't do. But imagining all that natural stuff that parents and grandparents feel in the context of being an asylum seeker. You know, imagine when you finally got your little one to sleep, but you're in that environment. You just imagine it, this is your child or a grandchild, and then it's obvious. I think the majority of Australians, if they're presented in a real life situation with people, will respond well.
There are times when I look at the broad political situation and I feel a certain despair. But I still have an optimism in the belief of ordinary people speaking up and making a difference.
Totally ashamed of what Australia is doing. We've signed various conventions, the Convention on the Rights of the Child, Convention Against Torture, and we're just breaking them. To me, a convention is a promise. If you sign something, that's your promise.
The truth is being kept from us. They've been there a long time. They're being treated very badly. There's severe mental health issues. The kids are traumatised. And enough is enough. We have to do something.
Can't send them to a country that doesn't have protection for refugees anyway.
And try and get more transparency on Nauru in particular, because we're focusing on the children there, so that we know what's going on.
It came from a group of grandmothers sitting around a kitchen table saying this is appalling that children are being kept in detention. Those 5 or 6 people decided that they would see if there was another few people, and they called a meeting, and we were to go and meet in a church hall. So many people turned up that they couldn't have the meeting in the church hall. It actually had to shift into the church. It's up over 2,000 now. New ones are coming in all the time. And that's without any really direct campaign. It's word of mouth. It's people seeing people doing things. We've been out in the street. We've had 2 petitions presented in Parliament, one in the House of Representatives and one in the Senate. So there now is a permanent record of, at one stage, there was a group of grandmothers who objected to what was happening. By far our biggest effort, which was quite daunting to start with, was to take between 200 and 300 grandmothers to Canberra. We're quite proud that at that day we had more grandmothers there than elected members of Parliament. And mostly they didn't want to see us. Everybody in the world knows that you don't detain children. And these were people who were largely responsible for detaining children. Who likes to be ashamed in front of their grandmother? That's my take on it. We have been called something that I don't think we really relate to, but that it's cute that grandmothers do something like this. I don't think it's cute, but if it gets attention and helps people to think about the issue seriously, well, we'll put up with being called cute. We've been doing our vigil now for over a year. There's been all sorts of weather. Hot and cold and windy, and of course raining isn't particularly good.
What I hate most is when it's very hot. I don't mind the cold, I don't mind the wind, but heat bothers me. The cars either beep us, sometimes people stop, sometimes they abuse us, sometimes they say good word.
Somebody said, go and get a job. Us old ladies, yes. Go and get a job.
You know, people first ignored us, and then as the months progressed, actually they started to become very friendly, or we got tooted, had thumbs up, so it sort of became more and more of a positive experience, especially discovering really that a lot of people out there agreed with us.
We go back to the street corner. I go back every Tuesday because I think you can get overwhelmed by the hugeness of the task, and so you have to break it down into doable things where you can have a say and some influence. And it might be a minor one in drawing attention to purple-clad women with placards every Tuesday, but it's having a say at some level. And I can't even tolerate the idea of giving up.